So now let's see how we can use our standard TI-83 or TI-84 to get our regression line or the best fit line. So let's say you're right at the home screen, being blank screen of your TI-83 or 84 calculator. And so the first thing you need to do is to enter your data set into the calculator. And so we're going to hit the stats button. And immediately it's going to bring up 3 submenus, and you are at the first submenu here looking for. So, and you want to go to edit to enter the data into and have it stored in your calculator. So hit enter. Now notice that the up and down navigation key can help you navigate to different items in the submenus, but here we want to save right here in option 1. And so you can either press 1 or hit enter because you already at that first entry. So hit enter. And so now I already had a data set for my other classwork here in this column L1, so I don't need to use that. But any other empty columns, you can start putting in your data. So here we have 2 data sets. There's the X data and there's the Y data. So you can use any one column here for the X data and use another empty column for the Y data. So here I'm going to use, in this demonstration, I'm going to be using L2, my list L2. And so here for your understanding, we can also, once you're in the list right here, then you can use the up and down navigation key to move to different entries on your column, and then you can use the left and right arrow to move to different list, L2, L3, L4, or even L1. And so let's say I want to stay right in L2. And so now I'm going to enter my first value and just hit the number, click enter. The value will be entered and stored into the first entry right here. And then so now it comes the next value, 6. Hit the value, click the value, and hit enter. And so now I'm going to continue doing that. And so now that we're done getting our X data into list L2, I'm going to use, once again, as I mentioned before, I'm going to use the right arrow key, and that brings me into my next empty list, namely L3. And I'm going to enter values again. So 0.45, type the value, hit enter, that's stored. Type the value again, the next value, it's stored. So now that once you have entered all your data X and data Y into the data, we don't actually have to hit any save button or anything like that. As soon as you have your data entered, it's already stored. So the next step you would like to do now, in order to find a regression line, you need to exit out of your stats mode. So go second mode, which brings up quit. You want to go back to your default screen, and the next step you need to do now is to turn on a feature that's called Diagnostic On. And here's how you can find it. We click on your home screen, we click second 0. That will bring up all the catalog menu, the entire catalog menu that has all a comprehensive list of all features and programs that comes with your calculator. And these programs and features and functions, they're all alphabetically arranged. So all you need to do is simply scroll down by using the down arrow, scroll down to find. Once you have scrolled down to those functions using the letter D's right here, then we can scroll all the way down to Diagnostic On right here. And you can see that my little arrow here points to Diagnostic On. Now we're going to hit enter. And once the Diagnostic On command is being printed on your home screen with a blinking cursor, we can just simply hit enter again. And now nothing but just a word done simply being printed here, but that's indicating the feature, the Diagnostic On feature has been turned on. So now after turning on Diagnostic On, the next thing you want to do now is to make the scatter plot for your data that you have entered. So what you need to do here is to hit second stat plot. What it does now is it's gonna brings up the stats plot options right here. The first thing once you're in here, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that your stat plot is on for plot 1 right here. So my calculator is already on, but here's in case your calculator is still in off mode right here, this is what you can do. So you can right here under plot 1 right here, and once again up and down navigation keys brings you into different plots, but we only gonna be doing one plot here in this demonstration. So I'm gonna stay at plot 1 right here. But to access the settings and turn on in case your calculator is still off for stat plots, you need to hit enter. And so now right here in that first line, if your calculator is still in off mode, then you should see the blinking light is on under the off. So just simply use the right arrow key, turn to the option that you need. So I would suppose you go to on and hit enter. And then, but once you click enter on that, we also need to stay in the same setting option right here. We need to we need to let the calculator know where to look for the X data and where to look for the Y data. And so here I'm going to scroll down further. And to indicate that my X list is in list L2, I'm going to go second 2. So that brings up L2. To indicate that my list is in L3, I'm gonna click second 3 and enter, and that will bring. And then this line here is nothing but just we're gonna change to different ways how we display the plot. You can go by the little square dots, or those plotting points being the plus sign, or we can use just a solid dot, a big dot, or a solid small dot right here. And then we can use different colors, but I just prefer blue right here for my screen. And then back up here again, you can select whether you want it just completely as scatter points or make a zigzag point that connects all these dots. But being a scatter plot, we definitely want to just use this type right here for being completely scatter points right here. Okay? And once you've had it all done, we're going to just, after we select, and so anytime you select an option, make sure you hit enter so that it stores and save that setting right here. So now in order to see your stat plot, your scatter plot right here, all you have to do in the next step is to click on zoom right here. You see my mouse button is now pointing to the zoom button on your calculator keypad. Hit on zoom, and then now to make it instantly showing your scatter plot, option number 9 right here says zoom stats. It's gonna, what it does, it will adjust your viewing window to perfectly fit with your stats data. So we're gonna select option 9 or scroll down to 9 and hit enter. Here I'm gonna select 9. And this line right here is called the best fit line, as you already have learned in the lecture. But now, a lot of time when you start completely the first time beginning as a beginner, then maybe this line doesn't come out immediately at first sight right here. So I'm also going to show you how to find that line right here. But let's say for now your calculator doesn't have that line. Maybe let me quickly hide it. All right, so here you go. I just now hide away that best fit line. And so let's say for any one of you beginning into doing this is really your first screen that comes out. You're only doing a scatter plot for now. So here it shows only the scatter plot. And so now if you want to put up the best fit line as you have seen just a moment ago, then here's how you can do it. And the reason I have to turn it off and then now turn it on again so that you can see how you can turn it on, and you can also learn other things outside of that. So to put your best fit line here, we are going to hit on the stats button, and we don't need to hit quit out of this or anything like that. Just simply click on the stats button right when you are still in your stat plot mode right there. Click on the stats button. Now you're gonna use your right arrow key and turn over to calculation mode. select option number 4 right here, or whichever option on your calculator. Some calculator, even the TI-83 and 84, might be slightly different, but what you want to be looking for is the linreg command, that is short for linear regression. So scroll down to that, or just simply hit number 4, option number 4. And so now, at this point, I have to admit, most of the calculator is, when you're executing this command, it's going to be having a prompt like this. And then a little moment later, I'm going to show some of the users, TI users, who have the older version of the calculator. In case you don't have this menu right here, I'll have a little small video showing you how you can run as a command base right here. But so if you see a screen like this, then what you do, once again, xlist is to be, I put my xlist in L2. You can put your xlist in whatever list you need, but the way to indicate the list name, once again, L second 2, that's indicating L2. Hit enter to navigate down to the next list right here. And the calculator now is looking for Y list. We have to provide that. So second 3, because I put my list in L3, my Y list in L3. We can skip the frequency list here that the calculator is asking. Now, this is important right here. If you want to see the best fit line being indicated, being put together, being plotted together with your scatter plot that you have seen previously, then this step is quite crucial. What you want to do is, you see, as it says here, you want to store your regression equation to. So now here's how I'm indicating. We are hitting the variables. So right here, when your blinking cursor is happening right at that line saying store reg EQ, you want to hit and click on variables button, and now use the right arrow key to turn over to the submenu Y variables. And right there under option 1, item number 1, we can click enter right here. So what it says now is that these are the functions, these are the different functions where you can store your best fit line equation or your regression equation into. And so I'm going to now select, and you can also have your choice to select other equation in case your equation Y1 has already been used. So right here, Y1 I'm happy with. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. So what it says now that we're going to take the equation, we're going to take the regression equation and store that into my function Y1 right here. So now, as I have put my Y1 indicated there with a blinking cursor here, I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to hit enter again. And so now you don't see the best fit line being plotted together with the scatter plot yet, but what you see here, and this is also part of your learning, but the slope of your best fit line will be this value, because you remind yourself that any line equation has the form of y equals mx plus b. Your calculator actually is treating the slope as the a coefficient. So here is supposedly mx plus b, but your calculator is programmed to write it as ax plus b. So the slope is here and the y-intercept is here. And so what you're looking at now is the a value, the slope value of your best fit line has been calculated by the calculator, being 0.03474276 and a lot longer. And here's your y value. And then later on, make a good note of this screen right here on your calculator. Later on, I'm going to advance as we move on. I'm going to come back and explain what this value means to us right here. Or namely, right now, you can just call this is your correlation coefficient right here for this value r. So now you've had that. You got the slope, you got the y-intercept, and you further know the correlation coefficient of your data. So here's how you want to see that in yours together with your scatter plot here. So all you have to do from this step, and we don't need to worry about exiting out of this screen or whatsoever. Just hit on the graph button right here. And so now that's best fit line right there. It is now showing. And that was the line that you accidentally saw about a moment ago. So that is how you put up your scatter plot and together with your best fit line equation.